Welcome back to the channel, guys. It's Mazz back again with another video for you guys. Sorry about my voice, but I'm just getting over allergies. My voice has been gone the last 2 days. It's just coming back to me. I was mid-stride through doing some of the new Mazz Designs XL or Gladiator links. We also offer these in C10, what we call C-bolt, which is C10 fronts with deadbolt rears, Gladiator, XL, and deadbolt. So we offer 4 different styles right now with more to come. They come pre-packaged in your bag, but not assembled. Very simple to install though. So when you get them, what I suggest doing is taking your 3 style of rod ends and separating them. So when you pull all your plastic rod ends out, you'll want to separate them. So over here, I have my 3 straights and they have a hex on them. All right, they're dead straight though. All right, we have one right here that has a hex, but is offset. You see that little offset or that angle to it? We're gonna call these offset to not get confused. And then your angled ones will only go on the skid. So this one, see how it's smooth though? We'll call it angled. All right. So the angled ones go on the skid. This is an offset with the hex. It's going to go to your axle on the lowers. All right. So for your lowers, all 4 of them, smooth, angled on the skid, all 4 of them. That's going to go on the long side of your high clearance links. On the bend side, you're going to put the offset with the hex. All right. And you're also going to alternate them. So see how this one bends out and this one bends to the left, this one bends to the right. You're going to do that for all of them. What I always suggest is when you put them together, screw them all the way down tight. And see, I can already turn this one another half turn, probably even another. Yeah. So that one's all the way on there now. And see, it's offset still. So I just turned it a whole nother turn. But always make sure they're bottomed out. When you do the straights, I always tell people to put them on, get one side partially on, the other side partially on, then you can just grab both ends and spin them down. But the same thing, they need to alternate. So if your bend down here is going to the left, the bend up here needs to go to the right. And what this does, this keeps all the ball ends, the metal parts, in an unloaded position to where they're not already in a bound up style position. So it frees up your links a lot. So I didn't want to bore y'all with having to put together all these links. So I left the last of the links being the steering links. So just to go over it, your upper links, all 4 of them, get offset, hex, and you alternate them. If one bends one way, one bends the other. And I know I'm beating this into y'all's head, but same thing with all your lowers. Doesn't matter if it's front or rear. Offset hex to the axle, smooth angle on the skid. All right. When you get into the steering links, you got 3 straights and 1 hex offset. All right. So these 2 straights, we already have ball ends in these. These 2 straights are going to go onto your steering connection link. That's going to connect both of your knuckles together. And it's the same way. These have a little chamfer in there. You're going to start to put one on. You may have to put a little pressure forward to get them going. Then they'll start to screw on. I do the same thing with this one because it's pretty straight as well. Even though it's got the 2 little bends in it, it can work the same way. So we're going to get that started on there. And then I just turn both of them. So I'm going to bottom these out. Bottom these guys out. And you'll feel it. You'll feel it bottom out. That's what she said, right? So I always try to keep my ball ends the same way. So there's a one side that has a very little bit of surface area and one that's got a big surface area, right? So I keep those the same way. On your steering link, to get the correct width, this is made a little short, and it takes about a turn, a full turn. So one turn and one turn, and that'll get your wheel straight. I always recommend one more half turn on each side. So 1.5 on each side. And see, we still have both our ball ends the same direction. But that will give you the little bit of toe out that you need on your rig. All right, so those are, just to go back over it. These have a hex, but they're straight. See how they're dead straight? No offset, no angle. Two straights go on your double bend. I call it the double bend steering rod. It goes on there and you're done. Like I said, screw them all the way down, back them off a turn to a turn and a half. It does not affect strength. I've had these on the brand new NSDRC servo. Haven't had any problems with tearing a link out. You're not going to break these ends. They're not 3D printed. They're injection molded. All of them spin very free. So if you grab them and pick them up, you know, they're plenty free. But they don't have any slop back and forth in them. I mean, it's like the perfect fit. So last thing we'd have to do is our steering or our horn to knuckle connection. All right. So it's very simple. We have one that is our straight, which is this guy, straight with a hex. Sorry, I was trying to get it in my finger so I could show y'all. So straight with a hex. And we have an offset hex. All right. Offset is going to go to the knuckle. Straight is going to the horn. Once you do one set of these, it's like clockwork, man. It don't take any time to do them. So same thing. These straight ones, they're the easiest way. Get them started on one end. Get them started on the other end. You may have to put a little pressure. If it gets off to the side like that, just try to push it on as straight as you can. Regardless, once it starts to get some thread into that rod end, it's going to straighten up itself anyway. There's also another nice thing about doing this, because I know every single one of y'all that have put a servo on a truck know that when you go to put your steering link on there, it's always just like a half tooth off. Like your steering horn is never like straight up and down. You always have to go in and this one, remember, you're going to have to connect it to the knuckle and the horn. So it's going to go a quarter turn. You're going to have, let's get it straight. So you're going to have one facing at you and one a quarter turn off. All right. When you go to put it on, your offset side is going to have the angle up top and it's going to go on your knuckle. This is going to go to the horn. All right. When you go to put these ball ends in, it's as simple as this. So we'll move this out the way. We'll see if we can get this where y'all can see it. So I take them and usually I put all this stuff together at one time. So I do this very last for all my links. I'll go through and line all these up with them standing up. And when you put the ball ends in, so this is the offset side. On this side with the angle, that's the side the ball end goes in from. It won't go in from this side. And you can kind of tell it, this side's a touch smaller than this side. This side's got a bigger hole. Same thing with the straights. You can look at those and see this side is smaller, this side is bigger. So when you go to put them in, just set them straight down, push straight down. They snap in there nice and free. They're not like the Endure ones, not knocking anybody's product, but if you've had experience with the Endure ones, these are not anything like them. These things move free. They're very easy to snap in. They still move very free. This one doesn't have much weight to it, so it doesn't have much weight to move it, but you can see, I mean, they move very free, but they're not loose. That's the thing. When you go to move your axle side to side after putting these on, you'll have little to no slop in your suspension. I mentioned there's a nice reason for all of these adjustable rod ends? Well, like I said, usually you go to put this on and it's a half tooth off, and then you have to go in and adjust your steering trim to get it close to being straight, and then start to get, finish up your steering trim. Well, the nice thing with this, it's made intentionally just a touch short so that you can thread this out, and it's different for everyone depending on the servo, but you can thread it out, and you probably only gonna have to thread it a half turn, maybe a full turn altogether between two sides, and you'll actually be able to get your wheel straight based off of this. Turn your truck on, get your servo sitting with zero trim left to right, and set it based off this, and then whatever trim to get it driving straight is going to be very minuscule. Also, with your front lowers, make sure your front uppers are screwed all the way down. Make sure they're snug and they're offset. Remember, they're all the offset ones, and you also alternate them. One bends one way, one bends the other. Make sure the uppers are screwed all the way down, and then you can adjust your caster based off of the bottom. So you can take up to a turn and a half, 2 turns on these, and get plenty of caster. You don't have to do a ton of it. I usually turn about a full turn on each one, and that gives me more than enough caster to get a good steering angle. So just a lot of benefits to having nice screw-on solid links. These are also the stainless steel. We probably will not do brass. Brass is too soft. It's okay if you're on an indoor course, but on an outdoor course with rock and anything, brass is too soft. It grabs everything. We also have a lightweight option that we're working on that will come soon. It's also got a very hard surface, so it will slide on rocks very easily. But I will also show you that when you put these links together, they also go into the skid very easy. So we'll do a whole nother video of this because I need to get some better lighting for you guys, but they'll go in straight in, just like that. All you have to do is get it lined up and it'll slide straight in. So they go in very easy. They're perfect width. This is a Mazz skid, but they'll fit a stock skid just as well. But we'll do a whole nother video installing these on the truck. And it's easy. You don't need these videos for me to tell you. You can always hit me up directly if you have questions before the next video comes out. But when you lay them out, what I tell people, lay your skid, your 2 axles out, and you'll be able to see what you're trying to do. What you're trying to do is eliminate any of the tension. So if this link needs to come out like this, you're trying to eliminate the tension. So you'll see how those rod ends need to be faced, but it's very simple once you do it. And I'll show you right here just so it's not any confusion. And I say not any confusion, the Mazz skid already has some misalignment made into it, but I still run these rod ends the same way on these as I do a stock skid. So when you go to put it in, your bend is going to go with the angle. All right. So it's going to bend away from the angle even more. So you see that? If you spin it over, it's bending in towards the center of the skid. On a stock or any skid that I know of, you're going to do it like this. You want the skid links to bend out towards the frame rails. All right. And then as you see, you kind of get the picture. That kind of bends out. This kinks back into the axle and it leaves very little load, preload on the ball ends. So, but didn't want to make this video too long. I know it's already like 15 minutes. I can talk all day, even with my voice going away. But like always, guys, like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if you enjoyed the video. Tell me a joke down below. And until next time, guys, y'all have a good one.